Welcome back to Unknown Capital. This weekend we have UFC Fight Night. We have Islam Mackhachev versus Rafael Dos Anjos. And I don't know what this fight means for the lightweight division, but it's still an interesting fight. We have Rafael Dos Anjos at the time in 2015 being really hyped because he was a former champion.
Undisputed UFC lightweight champion of the world!
And then we have Islam Mackhachev. He's so hot right now with a 6-fight win streak, and you know, he's a Dagestani fighter. And because of Khabib's reputation of being a Dagestani fighter and being so dominant and being so skillful in the wrestling department, we have to be excited about Islam Mackhachev. So let's get right into the video.
A few moments later.
Okay, Islam Mackhachev has pulled out with an injury, and now this fight is not going to happen. We made a whole prediction video on this fight, and now that it's not going to happen, it's just so annoying. But this video is worthwhile to watch. Why? Because if Islam Mackhachev won, when we said that he's going to win, and he was most likely going to win, he will move on to the top 10 of the lightweight division. And that's interesting. Why is that interesting? Because right now there's a lot of speculation of how the lightweight division is going to go. We have Michael Chandler saying that he wants a tournament with himself and Tony, with Conor and Dustin. And whoever wins that belt, there will always be the question, and there will always be people saying that, oh, if Khabib was there, he will smash everyone. But maybe we can have the answer to that question. And the answer is Islam. Khabib's retired, and I really believe that he is retired now. But with Islam coming into the top 10, he can resemble what Khabib could do to all these guys, to whoever the champion is in the lightweight now. And the funny thing is that Islam has great wrestling just like Khabib. His striking is amazing too. So we can finally have the answer of what Khabib could do now to all these 4 guys. You know, Conor is new now. I believe that. If you look at his Instagram, he's like flexing and he's doing great back kick, front kick, and he's going up against Dustin, who's top 2. So this is awesome for the lightweight division. So this video is worthwhile to watch. Please watch it. Please. Because this will just answer the question, and this will show what Islam Mackhachev can do in that top 10 and how he can compete for the lightweight belt.
So this fight was meant to be made in UFC 254, but unfortunately RDA got the virus. But now it's a main event, that means both of the money is gone up. With RDA's career, it's been really uncertain. In his first 4 MMA fights, he was 2-2. Like, as a fighter being 2-2, you should really consider, like, is this the right thing for me to do? Am I making a mistake? But no, he persevered. And he went on a 9-fight win streak. It was looking all good. Then he came against the UFC. And then the uncertainty started again. He lost his first 2 fights in the UFC. He lost to Jeremy Stephens by KO. He lost to Tyson Griffin by split decision. So after losing his first 2 fights in the UFC, he went on a 3-fight win streak. It was looking better for him. But straight after that, what happened? He lost again. This was the big thing in RDA's career. Whenever he looked good, he lost. In his first 8 fights in the UFC, he was 4-4. And like anyone being 4-4 in the UFC, it's not looking too good for you. Like, a few people only come away from that. And RDA did well to come away from that. Because after going 4-4 in his first 8 fights in the UFC, he went on a 3-fight win streak. Then he went against Khabib. And you know what happens against Khabib? No one ever looks good against Khabib. Person who's been closer to look good against Khabib was Alex Quinter. And even he was far away from the benchmark. So after losing to Khabib, everyone thought his RDA's career over. But no, he came back. He went on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Benson Henderson and Nate Diaz. Like, in both fights, Benson Henderson was a big name at the time, and so was Nate Diaz. And after the 2 fights, guess who you got? The champion at the time, Anthony Pettis. And that's the best RDA I've ever seen in my life, where he looked really good from round 1 to 5 and won by unanimous decision. And he got his dream in the UFC of the lightweight championship. So after being the champion, he had his first title defense against Cowboy Cerrone. He already beat Cowboy Cerrone by unanimous decision, but this time made it better. We TKO'd him in the first round.
Hard body kick by Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos all over Nate here.
That body shot got him. He's still in it. He's got to wait it. Body shot hurt very bad. And that kick is there every single time. Dos Anjos, all he can do right now.
Cowboy is in all kinds of trouble. He's in all
Then after that, he came against Eddie Alvarez. At that time, Eddie Alvarez, no one wanted to fight Eddie Alvarez in the division. And unfortunately, what happened to RDA? He got caught out by TKO in the first round and lost his belt.
Eddie Alvarez.
This is crazy! I told you this was the fight of the fucking year, you fucking momos!
Holy
Stop
shit.
with your bullshit, Brock Lesnar and Mark fucking Hunt! That's
Holy
baby
shit.
stuff compared to this!
God damn
This
Eddie
is the
Alvarez.
UFC!
God damn Eddie Alvarez.
I told you I was excited when you
Congratulations.
called me.
After losing to Eddie Alvarez, he thought he can come up against the boogeyman, the El Kakui, Tony Ferguson. And RDA just couldn't do anything in the fight. Tony Ferguson did what he did best and ran through RDA. And that was so prominent of his career. Like every time he got to the top, he would go back down. So after losing his title to Eddie Alvarez and losing to the boogeyman, RDA thought it's time to go up to welterweight. And he had a perfect start on welterweight. He was 3-0 and he just beat Robbie Lawler, who was a former champion. And it was looking good for him. So after being a perfect 3-0 in the welterweight division, he came out against Colby Covington for the interim title. And guess what happened? Colby Covington ran through him. After losing to Colby Covington, it got worse for RDA. He lost to Kamaru Usman, and both fights were the same. He just got wrestled for 3 rounds. And he just couldn't think of anything. Like, when he came against the big boys, he just lost. So after losing to Kamaru Usman, it got a bit better for RDA. He won his next fight, and he was 4-2 in the welterweight, which isn't too bad. Then after that, he came against Leon Edwards, and Leon Edwards just ran through him. Leon Edwards never takes down no one, and Leon Edwards took him down. And this showed how much of RDA's career was up and down. And then he lost his next fight to Mackhachev. And then this made him 4-4 in the welterweight division. And this was so prominent of RDA's career. Like every time he looked good, there would always be a big dip in his life and in his MMA career. Damn! There's always that big question, should the UFC make a 162-pound division? And I think for someone like RDA, that's a perfect division to fight in. Because for lightweight, he's a bit too big, and for welterweight, he's a bit too small. And it's with this 5'8" framework, that division will suit him the best. Because he can be explosive, he can use his Muay Thai and his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to his advantage. And he could have done even better than he already did in the UFC.
Let's talk about Islam Mackhachev. Being 18-1 in his MMA career, he had a really good start, winning by submission against Leo Kantz. And you know...
Motherfuckers, he follows me. Look.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Look, he follows me. So don't ever chat shit, yeah? Don't say I'm a MMA casual. He follows.
After this, unfortunately, Islam Mackhachev got KO'd TKO'd by Adriano Martins. He had to really reevaluate everything after this fight. But after this fight, he was a complete different man. He's on a 6-fight win streak, winning most of his fights by decision, 1 by submission, and 1 by a KO.
Under the sun, the bastard son will pop the clock to feed himself and family. By any means, your enemies, my enemies, we wet them up like a cat.
Throughout Islam Makhachev's 6-fight win streak, we can see that he's very similar to Khabib and different in many ways. If you look at the striking, Khabib only got good at his striking towards the end of his career. But Islam Makhachev has always been good at his striking, you know, able to maintain that distance, being very patient with his attacks, being a good counter puncher, throwing those combos, mixing up with his kicks. He keeps it at the feet and he does it really well. And then we have to move on to his wrestling. For God's sake, he's a Dagestani man. Of course he's going to be great at wrestling. And he trains with Khabib like all the time. He's trained with him his whole life. They are both great wrestlers. But there's a difference though. Khabib is very good at taking you down and keeping you there for long periods of time. Islam Makhachev does it too, but you know, like he doesn't do it as well as Khabib. But then if you look at Islam Makhachev, the thing that he brings to the table is that variety of ways to take you down. The wrist control, turning your body in the opposite direction, then sweeping your legs. Even in 2019 when he came up against Arman had the nerve to try and take down Islam Makhachev, which he failed many times. And Arman was a strong guy. Even Islam Makhachev struggled to hold him down, keep him down once he'd taken him down. And then Arman tried grabbing onto one leg, which Islam Makhachev hopped like it was nothing and just got his leg out of the way. And then, you know, he just dominated the whole fight, Islam Makhachev. And I think that's the difference between Islam Makhachev and Khabib. Khabib is a one-trick pony, takes you down, keeps you down, and does it really well, and it works every time. Islam Makhachev though, he has a variety of ways to take you down, but he can't keep you there for too long. But that's why his striking is there to help him out, because his striking is also good and also dangerous, which can also trouble Rafael Dos Anjos.
In my opinion, I think Islam's gonna win this fight. Even though RDA can win this fight, I'm not ruling him out. Islam has Khabib in his corner, and Khabib's already beaten him, so he can just take some wisdom and do the same thing what Khabib did to RDA, and Islam could do the same thing and win this fight.
I also think that Islam Mackhachev is going to win this fight. I don't know what RDA can do to trouble Islam Mackhachev. If you look at the wrestling, RDA may be a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he seems to get taken down so easily and kept there. We see Leon Edwards do that, which is unheard of. And then if you go to Islam Makhachev's striking, people can argue that, oh, Rafael Dos Anjos is explosive and could surprise him with an array of punches. But Islam Makhachev has already dealt with that in his last fight against David Ramos. And dealt with it comfortably. You know, countering him, throwing good strikes, good combos, and keeping his distance. So I don't know what RDA can do. I think he's going to lose this fight, and he's going to end his career with a loss.
Guys, this could be RDA's last fight. He has one fight left on his contract, and he's done everything which a fighter dreams to do. Even though the reign wasn't long, he still was a champion. And he's a big person for Brazilian MMA. He's a pioneer of the sport. And for someone who's been doing it for 16 years, a few losses will come. But RDA, please make this your last fight. After this, please retire. You've had a long MMA career. I think you should stop. And you should just go to coaching, because many fighters could use your wisdom.
And with Islam Makhachev, if you do win this fight, which we think you will, you need to fight a top 10 guy. He needs that top 10 guy so that he can compete for the lightweight belt. Whoever he fights now, unless he's from the top 10 of the lightweight division, no one really cares. This is just a good farewell fight for him. Thank you for your 12 years service. You brought us a lot of memories being a former champion. But yeah, this fight is just a farewell to RDA, and that's pretty much it, honestly.
So the last 24 hours has been very crazy for RDA. Like, Islam's pulled out. He called up Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler said no. So who does he fight? Like, is it going to be lightweight or is it going to be a welterweight? Like, no one knows. He needs to find an opponent in the next 2 days. And then the opponent needs to be ready by Friday. And they have to cut weight. And the fight's on Saturday. So this might not be the main event which RDA wanted. Like, they could put a co-main event as the main event. It's going to be crazy for RDA. But this is the question which everyone wants to know.
And it's a bit sad because it's his last fight in the contract and it might not even happen. Which is insane. But yeah, let's see what Dana pulls out of the hat, and let's see what happens.